Evening all, afternoon on the East Coast where KingSledge is. I am USSR, he is USA +2 with optionals. This is an ITSL league organised by Baskmex. Thanks to Baskmex for organising. Let's give it a go. KingSledge has a losing record as the USA. So let's see if I can maintain that theme. We'll look at that in a sec. We'll obviously set up 4-4-1. I am Ops Light for the first turn. Here's KingSledge's record. So slightly losing record is USA, winning record is USSR. 250 games deep. Alright, so what do we got? Captured Nazis, the obvious headline. I use UN intervention on Eastern European unrest for my one decent coup of the turn. So we'll see how KingSledge sets up, which will help define that. (4-3-3), so holding socialist governments. I will headline Captured Nazi. Oh, and I get purged as well. What a delight. So we'll... well, I mean, if I got purged, he's unlikely to hold Middle Eastern scoring. So let's start thinking a bit more expansively. Headlining Olympic Games now isn't a bad shout. Keeps DEFCON high, hopefully nets me some more VPs. And we're not anticipating to see. Eventing blockade. Basically, okay, good. I mean, I just have to try and avoid domination, etc. Keep DEFCON relatively high, event as many cards as is practical. So if he puts 2 in South Korea, for example, I'll just event Korean War and hope for the best. But being purged is an unpleasant start. Headlines Marshall Plan. So now adjacency to Austria doesn't mean a lot either. So next up we'll headline blockade. I know I could have waited till AR6 to do it, but you know, if he's going to be short of cards, he's going to be short of cards. I just want him to space D-style if he has it. And without one op in Benelux, he's actually lost any other options for adjacency to West Germany. So if by some bizarre quirk of fate he dumps out of Germany, that's pleasant for me, but unlikely. So De Gaulle goes. Out of the hand. NATO plays in. 2 into Afghanistan. 11 in Iraq, right. So I get a coup off. And I will coup with Truman Doctrine, get out the deck. And we'll coup on Lebanon. And I succeed, which is good. I may space Eastern European unrest. And hold UN intervention, given I'm Ops Light, and I may get US Japan or something in turn 2. But this is very much damage limitation, being purged on turn 1. I mean, I was Ops Light, so maybe in one sense it's a blessing. But yes, I'm hoping for an unguarded walk into South Korea. Okay. He's got US Japan, goes for Iraq, and succeeds, so I lose adjacency. We will space Eastern European unrest and fail to get away. We'll take a coup on Panama with Fidel, probably. At least there's some ops if independent res doesn't come first, although Truman Doctrine's now gone. Blah, 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 blah. It may help for country count as well. Let's take a coup on Panama. A one-op coup. Which fails. I am Jack's total lack of surprise. They've got CIA, and there's now less incentive to hold UN intervention, given the lack of US 4-op cards in the deck. So we'll put one in South Korea to finish. Obviously, with DEFCON going up to 4, we'd kind of like him to play into Thailand. I don't expect to see that error. The other option is obviously Vietnam revolts. Duck and cover if I get it, but Defectors is still in the deck. At the moment, I'm just mostly flabbergasted. I'm not deep in the hole. But obviously with De Gaulle out the deck as well, it's a little problematic. So, Middle East scoring. So the issue is if I headline D-Style and get defected, I'm absolutely stuffed here. And there is a 50-50 chance that my opponent's holding that. What's the nuclear test ban? And Formosa. So I can either be bold, headline D-Style and pray, or I can be a bit more bland and headline Middle East scoring, which is only worth 2. But that's the time to get it out of the deck, I guess. So we're going to headline Middle East scoring. And hope to see defectors, because then not playing D-Style was the right thing to do. Splendid! Post hoc rationalization at its finest. Alright, so Asia and Europe still to be scored. I think it's time to headline D-Style. Pop one in France, one in Chile, one in India, one in Thailand, which will force him to take France, and then I can take Thailand with duck and cover and try and pressure Asia. And that way I give up Europe domination, but try and maintain in Asia. It sickens me to use D-Style to get access to early war areas, which is the major frustration. But I think at this point there's little other option. So let's do it. One in India, one in Pakistan, one in Chile, one in France as well. Cool. The one in France gives me access to Algeria at least. What do you think? That covers the bases. He's got to decide to coup on Thailand, which then gives me access to Pakistan, India, France. The alternative is Thailand, France, Chile, South Africa, but Asia's going to be the issue. Although I suppose India's less of an issue if I take Thailand and South Korea. So playing in South Africa's the long game. Playing into India at least threatens domination in Asia. This is basically saying make a stand on one of the two, Europe or Asia. Let's go with this. What's the worst that can happen here? Plays into Pakistan. I then take France and Thailand. Or put 2 in France with duck and cover and 1 in Thailand. That's an option. Alright, let's stop talking about it. Tell me if I've got other access issues. Let's just commit that. I can only dwell for so long. I genuinely expect to see him put 3 in France. Which I'm not sure is right, because de Gaulle is gone. If he coups Thailand, then I can take France, or I can put 2 in France, start an ops war, which I'm likely to win, because I have the last 4-op card. It's either going to be Thailand coup or take France. If he takes France, I put 2 in Pakistan and 1 in Thailand with duck and cover. And then try and press the agenda in Asia. Laos, Burma, South Korea, all options. I mean, I could, hypothetically, with the use of the China card, press for Asia control, which would be fairly mad, given the situation. I suspect that the move will be dictated by going for Thailand, what scoring card he holds. And he gets there. So we know he doesn't have a 4-op card. So we can do that and start an ops war while staying ahead in Asia. And I know I've got Indo-Pakistani war. God, I'm not sure any of this is right. Being turn 1 purged is kind of gross. But that's why people love to do it. So he starts an ops war, which I can stay ahead of. So unless he's got 5-year plan, or potentially Comic-Con, I guess, he's going to start struggling. He drops Europe scoring, discretion being the better part of valor. We're going to dangle the carrot of Formosa resolution. because I'm now unlikely to get to Thailand in time. The deck's starting to look very red. Only independent reds and 5-year plan remains in the deck. So he does like Formosa. We'll finish taking South Korea with Korean War. And we'll event Indo-Pakistani War in India for the Milops. I'm kind of hoping to get Decol next turn, which would help flip Thailand. I feel still queasy about how this is going. Get Nasser at least. Which goes into Taiwan, which is fine. So we'll event Indo-Pakistani War in India and hope for a win as well. We do. Those VPs will come in handy. Now I expect to see Pakistan or France get broken here. So Vietnam, oh no, he overprotects. I mean, I'm fine with that because he should have left me an AR1 crisis. I do not get Decol. Europe comes back out, but I'm unlikely to be able to fight for domination there. So I get 5-year plan, he gets Asia scoring. I get Warsaw and Socialist Governments. He gets Comecon and Decol. I get Suez. So he gets Arab-Israeli War. And I get Duck and Cover, Europe and Containment in the reshuffle. So what do we think of as a good headline? Suez Crisis to clear out Israel, protect France and take the UK, then making special relationship viable. Indo-Pakistani War is my greatest fear. Let's start with Suez Crisis. Middle Eastern scoring comes out. To some extent I'm fine with that. It hasn't got domination. Racing country count is pretty much out of the question in Asia. So we will take the coup and let him drop Asia. Got a space Duck and Cover. If he drops Asia scoring, we'll pop 3 into Portugal. And then hope to start a race, potentially, for Europe, although I'm unlikely to win it. I may hold 5-year plan through to the next turn. So he drops Asia scoring for neutral. I'll take Portugal, which I hope looks relatively bland. He's got Comic-Con, so he's got some ops to race with. I'll put one of those in Finland to cover adjacency, VP. Obviously, I'm hoping that he doesn't respond thinking Europe scoring's only just been out. It would be lovely to snag a sneaky domination. But with 4 op cards, I'm unlikely to be winning the race. Yeah, fine. So we will use 3 ops to take Algeria and give up on the concept of scoring Europe at domination, but I will at least get 1 VP for it. So with no Indo-Pakistani war, I'm likely to be going into mid-war at around 3 or 2 VP, which is below par, and I'll be underdeveloped in the Latin countries. Latin country and Africa. It's one of the kind of gross things about using D-style. Maybe I should have D-styled into Malaysia? I don't know. Now adjacency to India. Which I can't contest, but Asia scoring has been and isn't coming back. So we'll drop Europe scoring. He's got Arab-Israeli war and Decol, which he won't be playing. So the question is just, what are his other 2 cards? That's a bummer. Two into India. Oh, weird. Okay. Well, Space Duck and cover to only give him 1 crack at... and we'll use Containment to take India, mostly to kind of make Indo-Pakistani war not a 50-50. That does mean I can get VO8 out of Chile, but there's always Allende. Junta is currently not a DEFCON dropper for me, but I'm USSR, so that's less important. You an intervention on Decol, maybe? Yeah, nothing worse. Okay, so he's just laying into Africa. We'll pop 1 into Burma to start to shore up India against Indo-Pakistani war as well. So, perhaps Arab-Israeli war... Oh no, it's got to be Arab-Israeli war, it's his last card. Will it go to space, or will he use 3 ops? Because at the moment it's 50-50 for 2 VP. Unless he puts 1 of the 2 in Jordan. So that was an ugly early war for me. So he's just racing around Southeast Asia for country count and other stuff. Okay, on to turn 3. Luckily I get Indo-Pakistani war. Muslim Revolution is not particularly effective given he's in Jordan and Iraq. and Iran and in Afghanistan, so I'm probably playing that for the ops. So let's add the mid-war cards and mark off what I've got. Nuclear subs is AR7. Flower powers for ops. Quagmire is potentially for the event. Colonial rearguards and John Paul are my space options. Indo-Pakistani war is handy. Fidel is good because he's also not in Latin America. So what do we like as our headline? Quagmire is the best bet, really. It will suck to be defected, but it's not the end of the world anyway, I guess. So let's go with that. Oh, brilliant. NORAD triggers before Quagmire. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, headlining NORAD's not terrible for him there, given he's pumped some into Canada, but obviously he knows it's a mid-war card, so it's not a delightful time to do it. We're going to start by getting one off in space, because obviously he's in the trap. So we'll space Colonial Rearguards, which fails, so now I can't space John Paul, which means I'll need to use 5-year plan on nuclear subs for some more ops. He gets out with Liberation Theology. I take my coup with Flower Power. So we're going to have a big old coup on Zaire. And that's a nice brush war target, if he does have it. So brush or ABM, he's ditching us not, although it's a bit early to be sticking someone in the... Okay, so we event Fidel, and we offer him +0 realignment potential. I need to pop one in Libya at some point before Sadat, although I'm miles behind in the Middle East, so it's a moot point. But obviously OPEC is currently only 1 VP, which is not spectacular. I suppose I can still hold 5-year plan to ditch Southeast Asia scoring. Oh god, he's got brush war as well. Well, he's got his Milops. So the obvious thing is popping one in each of those and pressing into Africa now that he can get a coup off. Then I'll use Muslim Revolution to pop 2 in Nigeria and 2 in Libya. I reckon. Frustratingly, with nuclear subs, he's going to get the last coup off anyway. But it's also perfectly nice to get rid of nuclear subs. Oh, he's going to trap me. Okay, so John Paul doesn't go off. That's a bonus. But I fail, which is a massive handicap. So now he's going to get into Nigeria first, which is a little frustrating. So we'll ditch nuclear subs. That one succeeds. A moment too late. So we can only hope he'll underprotect Nigeria here. And I can severely flip it. Or they can just VOA me out of Cameroon and Nigeria if I do that. Okay, well, I mean, at least France is kind of a shoo-in. So he overprotects. He's not dense. It's 4-3, so I need to pop one into Africa to shore up. If I go 5-4, he's got to take a coup anyway. Okay, so we're going to put 2 into Chile to protect against VOA, 1 into Libya, 1 into Sudan to protect against, bless you, and Africa scoring AR7, and now I hold 5-year plan in case Africa scoring comes out later in the game. The tempo of being stuck in the trap just one turn is very frustrating. On the bright side, Junta is an attractive option now, if I can get to Panama and coup Mexico. But he gets domination in Africa. Okay, so South America's fine for me. I can 5-year plan Southeast Asia scoring if I need to. Shuttle diplomacy is not going to make a ton of difference in either place. My space card's likely to be puppet governments. So what's the order of business? Coup on Angola. Cash arms race. South America scoring and hope to avoid junta, because it's not ABMable anyway. I don't really have the ops or the inclination to race around South America. So headlining South America scoring's alright. And at least doesn't waste too much tempo. Of course, defectors and grain sales are out still as well. What am I missing from my card tracker? Being stupid here. South America and Southeast Asia scoring. East European unrest? Yeah. Okay, so grain sales defectors, ABM, all sort of useful, likely. I don't know. God, Africa looks gross. Let's headline South America scoring and get out of the deck. Okay, he's got grain sales. What's he going to pull? US, Japan. At least it doesn't trigger it, if he's going to take the coup. If he coups on Algeria, things look kind of gross. He may coup on Zaire, but things look kind of bad in Africa either way you look at it. He's got options. Certainly got options. Four realigns on Chile at -1 would suit me nicely. Arms races, of course, unlikely to now be played for VP by me. And Africa scoring is not something I'm going to have much control over. Especially not with no Portuguese and no South Africa unrest in my ambit. He went for the coup. Amazing. I am okay with that. So we'll arms race coup Cameroon to level up country count and protect that place. So now we just maintain a race on Africa. 5-year plan Southeast Asia scoring. Not too worried. Well, East European unrest is a bit gross because of the Poland situation, but not as bad as it could be. Okay, so what do we give him? East European unrest? I pick up and then use missile MV. Where do I want to use missile envy? Press into... Well, I want to press the case with Saudi, I guess. Although, of course, I'm immediately contradicting myself if I play shuttle diplomacy. I need to kind of get the OPEC count up. Oh, he's got ABM as well. What a delight. Only clears out. That's a bonus. So now I'm absolutely using shuttle diplomacy. And we'll take Libya as well. Space puppet governments. I can put one op into Saudi with Summit. I've got to watch out for Sadat. Okay. Retakes domination, but does he have any scoring cards? He does not, so I don't have to rush to do anything there. So we'll space puppet governments. I'll counter Kusu down with Summit. So he spaces Che, and let's see if he's got one small step for good measure. That's a bit of a bummer. So the question is it worth 50-50 spacing the 4 VP swing to hand over 5 VP on Southeast Asia scoring? And I think the answer is no. And if he'd had it, he would have played it there. So let's play 5-year plan on Southeast Asia scoring. Where did that go? Saudi. Now, the AR7 question is, do I play the China card? What are we doing? He's splashing around in the Middle East. I'm comfortable with him doing that, and I don't want to hand over the China card. In my opinion. I may be wrong. Have I missed any cards? I've seen grain sales. Still haven't seen Voice of America. Blech. So it only takes a coup of Nigeria for me to flip Africa. Salt ABM? Well, salt grain sales, okay. I guess we know what their headline's likely to be. So, with DEFCON nice and high, a lot of options present. But we expect DEFCON to drop in the headline. OPEC's only worth 2 VP. So I'm in the kind of weird position where headlining defective saves me a VP, I guess? And I expect grain sales to come off. But I feel like I headline defectors here, which is rubbish. But OPEC's not great. Independent Reds is currently 2 free ops, so there's no point in me headlining that now. One small step denies him pulling it with... But if he doesn't event it, I can try and get realigns in Europe, potentially. I'm going to headline... I think 1 op for 1 VP is fine. I'm going to headline Kitchen Debates and get a 1 op card out my hand. So he does grain sales. What does he pull? He pulls Independent Reds, which he'll use to shorten my hand. So expect a coup on Zaire. Alright, so we're going to use one small step. Although I suppose I want a coup on Nigeria, because then I can always walk in. So he now has a choice between coupping on Algeria or walking into Zaire and giving me the last coup. I want to play the China card and take it back with Cultural Revolution to avoid playing Panama Canal Returned, ideally. No Central America scoring gone. So he's got a choice in a coup on Algeria or influence. Okay, he's going to put all 3 in. Yeah, so he's going to strongly protect. But I of course get the last coup off and can in theory use the China card for it. Okay, so that's not bad. Let's see what he does about Africa. So I need to space Usuri and use Cultural Revolution to take the China card back. If I miss with Usuri and I'm tempo-wise okay, I space defectors as well. But the board doesn't look as great as it could. So is he going to level up country count? He does. So I'll just play into Tunisia. Your move, my move. No VOA at the moment, I guess. So far, so good. Touch wood. Long may it last. I may drop Africa for +1 rather than racing domination, but he's going to have a gamble. He gets there. Okay, we drop Africa for 1. Can't be helped. If you're going to 2-coup a 2-stab country. So 5, 6, 7, space Usuri. I won't space defectors if Usuri goes off, because I don't want to clear my 2-op space square before VOA. Junta. Okay, so maybe... Oh no, so where's the realign? Cuba at 0, and he gets it straight off. Lovely. Okay, fair dues, fair dues. Space misses, so I'll try and space defectors. I'm definitely not playing Panama Canal Return now. Ah, but he may deny me. No, he doesn't? Oh, okay, there you go. And I do get defectors off, which is a nice swing. That was lucky for me in space. So there you go, give with one hand, take away with the other. Voice of America is absolutely the nightmare card, which hasn't yet been out. And we've got a reshuffle. 12 cards, yep, there'll be a reshuffle. Camp David, followed by Sadat, most likely. Can't do a lot about that. So we'll take the China card back. Obviously Nixon's still in the deck, so I may lose it straight away. But at least if he does that, Taiwan, when he plays the China card, will drop out. Although I need to overprotect Pakistan before that happens. Okay, well, I've managed to track the cards properly. That's a small miracle, given how dozy I can be. I'm nowhere near the War Games limit. I'm now out of Cuba, so Cuban Missile Crisis is a great play for KingSledge. Drops Defcon and denies me cooing, which can be an absolute unmitigated nightmare. Oh, he's got VOA. Lovely. Let's see what happens. Out of Pakistan and out of Korea. Just as Asia scoring comes out. Fan Dabby Dozy. And I pull Lone Gunman. In the reshuffle, so that's probably the headline. Although that goes off before Cuban Missile Crisis. He might purge me, of course. Might be greedy. What are my other cards? Warsaw in the reshuffle. So we think he's got Nixon, OAS, Sadat, Nuclear Test Ban, Cuban Missile Crisis, Purge, and Willy Brandt. Cuban Missile Crisis would be the sensible headline, but Purge may be attractive. I get Warsaw Pact back, and I get Asia scoring back just at the right time. So I could play We Will Bury You, hope he doesn't have UN intervention, and try and snag 3 VP that way. But in doing so, I then need to use the China card thereby giving it up to protect against Asia domination. And Central America will score handsomely. But if I get a coup off, I can't protect Asia anyway. So let's go with We Will Bury You. And I expect Purge. Oh, he takes the China card. Sensible. So we will start with that. So he'll put 4 into North Korea and I drop Asia scoring before it's too late. Central America scores 2. Could be worse. So I expect to see North Korea get tapped here. Okay, so we'll be greedy and take North Korea back, and we're hoping he doesn't have junta. Oh, no, it's safer. No, because he's got another 4-up card, so he can take North Korea. And then he dominates. So either drop Asia scoring, take North Korea. I'm going to take North Korea and gamble on no junta. We'll space alliance for progress. Oh God, I'm such an idiot. Oh well, that was stupid of me for missing OAS. Despite counting cards, just goes to show what a numpty I can be. Oh well, that was incredibly dense. Let's do some realignment rolls at -1. Be lucky. No. That was remarkably stupid. Although I would have been dominated in Asia. So, easy come, easy go. Can't manage both. Alright, we give him Central America scoring. Nicely done. We're going to see Sadat come out any minute now. So we'll put one in Saudi in space. There it is. We'll pop one in Saudi, because I may be able to get a coup or Iran hostage crisis. Ugh. This is not shaping up brilliantly, because I'm now well below the War Games threshold. Right. I'm going to give him Milops as well. I do get to headline peak. That might make a difference. We think he's holding Purge, which is presumably going to be the next headline. Love a good double Purge. Another coup on Cameroon's not a bad idea to set up the double realign, but now he takes the ops. Moves into South America. Right, so what do we got? I can use the Reformer. Aldrich is semi-attractive, but obviously the issue is there's no lone gunman, and Ortega's not an issue with the lack of spacing. So what do we think? Junta first with a coup overprotect Pakistan. Although it becomes 3-3. Tear down this wall as the space guard. And I get to headline peak at least, so. Aldrich the Reformer. Tear down this wall. US Japan. Oh, Chernobyl. What a delight. Special relationship. Iran-Iraq war. Which is totally unplayable. Lol. And AWACS, which I will hold on to for a while. So, the Reformer I can now event whenever I please, because we're going to wait and see where he Chernobyls first. I wonder how Junta interacts with... If I play Chernobyl, and he says no South America, although I suspect he'll just say Europe. In which case the Reformer's very attractive. So let's start with Junta. And see what he fancies. No, he wants Europe. So what's my play here? If I coup Argentina and succeed, I can take Brazil. But I fail, so it doesn't matter anyway. So where do I begin? Let's put 1 in Pakistan, 2 in Brazil. Africa doesn't dominate. We'll overtake North Korea as well. So let's see if he starts pouring influence in. The question is where? East Germany to start. But I'll event the Reformer. Before it becomes a major problem. If John Paul's come back in the reshuffle, I've got a much bigger problem on my hands in Europe. But I can still Aldrich him. Okay. So that's bad. So we'll event the Reformer immediately. We'll also pop 2 in West Germany, because domination's not an issue. And I want to put the wind up him. Next up, I guess, is Aldrich. See what he's holding. I need to get a coup off, which I will do in Colombia. So we use special relationship to coup on Colombia. Basically just trying to cause trouble, in inverted commas here, to slow down the Europe aggression. I may hold AWACS and use Panama Canal return to repair Venezuela. So he's going to ask not a bunch of stuff. Africa and South America. Cambridge 5 in Portugal. So ditching my scoring cards is also gross. Thanks, pal. So do I Aldrich him now? is the question. It's not going to get any better time. So we'll lose ABM treaty. He's welcome to 5-year plan me. He's also welcome to colonial rearguards me given his control over Southeast Asia. And he's behind on Star Wars, yeah. So he was holding 5 years, Star Wars, colonial, and OPEC. Yeah. OPEC's only worth 3 measly VPs. He may yet space it. I'll be spacing tear down this wall. So we'll use Iran-Iraq war to shore up Algeria. And with the other one op, prepare for AWACS. No, I can use AWACS on them. What we'll do is we'll pop another one into Morocco to make him use 3 ops to take the 3-2 realign. Of course, actually, I need to space tear down this wall ASAP, because if he does 5-year plan me at this point... Okay, he takes a coup. Colombia is the obvious one. Not that it matters at this point. So now I space tear down this wall to make sure he doesn't 5-year plan me. That's, again, a pretty huge space. He now has to space OPEC to keep me below the war games limit. He succeeds, so I no longer get 2 spaces, but I still get to peak. So I'm going to hold AWACS and just play Panama Canal returned. So I'm desperate for something like Glasnost plus war games plus avoid Middle Eastern scoring in Southeast Asia. It's not good. I would be fine with him 5-year planning me here. I'd genuinely be okay with him 5-year planning me here because I'm unlikely to get a gateway back into the Middle East. Although I do want Iranian hostage crisis, really. DEFCON's just not an issue. The draw pile's not being refreshed. So I'm thinking that my only hope is final scoring, and the only way I'm going to achieve that in final scoring is to get Iranian hostage crisis in before Middle Eastern scoring drops, and somehow avoid enough of a swing in turn 10. Okay, so he's going to pummel me with the China card. I'm okay with that, because he's just traded a battleground for a battleground. He's getting ready for Cal. So Muslim Revolution has come at a good time before AWACS. Voice America has come at a bad time. I at least get to peak, so let's see what happens first. So Muslim Revolution before AWACS, definitely. And then my other cards are Decoy Yuri. Yuri's not terrible. Emit nuclear subs. Emits gross, because again he can chuck a whole bunch of cards. Okay, he's taking the China card back. So I surrender the China card, but at least for now, unless Indo-Pakistani War flips it, I'm not going to be immediately dominated. But I also need to get a coup off Mexico, obviously. So what's my headline? Muslim Revolution and try and get him to play back in. And I'm going to coup with Evil Empire. Again, that's pretty huge given what it does to the swing, but I'm still shuffling down below Wargames level. He needs to play into Iran, and then I'm basically racing to get to Iraq. And I do not have a lot of ops, and I have to repair AWACS. Man, NATO has been so kind to him this game. That's weird. Okay. So, I'll take Iran. I can't do a ton of damage with decolonization. Filling up the one stabs in Africa is about as good as it gets. And I'm kind of sickened by the fact on turn 9 I have to event our man in Tehran. But such is life. Okay, he's just going for adjacency points in Europe. I mean, I can live with that to some extent. Man. Is spacing AWACS in the hopes of being able to chuck a discarded card any good? I have to event nuclear subs turn 7. Let's start with Emit. And let's overprotect against the China card. Okay, give up your worst. I mean, Glasnost is about as bad as I can see come off here and pushing. This is going to be a hell of a struggle. Flower Power, LADC arms race. Oh, and he's got Brush War again. And succeeds on Libya, so that flips Middle Eastern domination. What a delight. So I'm going to space AWACS and hope to be able to discard a held card. I do. Small blessing. Now Middle Eastern's dominating. I'll event decol. Alright. I'm going to pop 2 right now in there. And let him start cooing in exchange for trying to avoid losing Poland. If he's got Solidarity as well, I'm toast. At least with the China card, he can't finish taking Poland this turn. And if he does coup, I can finish taking Poland with Summit. Man, it's a tough game. Central America was stupid, but I don't know. I couldn't. In retrospect, I don't believe I could have solved Asia and Central America at the same time. And yeah, KingSledge has played well. Oh, miss. Oh, that's huge. I am absolutely smoked now. No more headline peeking, that doesn't help me either. So, I don't see any routes to victory now. I think I am a goner. I can't even race to dominate country count in Asia. I'm just flat dominated. So yeah, I am pretty sunk. I don't even have a way to win with war games. Like I can't. Well, okay, maybe I'm being like lamenty. If I am to get Glasnost, successfully space, and I mean that's great for AR7. Nuclear subs was no use. Okay, so I didn't get war games. I can missile envy him. So what do I need to do? Headline socialist governments claim Europe for domination. Missile envy him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so socialist governments has to be the headline. Europe scoring. And then hope to missile envy war games. Oh, perfect. I can only hope he plays somewhere other than Europe, but Middle East is the only other unscored region. He's dominating that already. Oh, overprotecting those is pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 4. Doesn't. Okay, he's done enough. Well done, well done. So Europe for 0. I don't have a space that isn't Glasnost. Yeah, I don't see a way out here. So we'll miss LMVM to start, because at this point it doesn't matter too much. At least he can't do a lot with Miss LMV once it's in his hand. But I'm toast. I mean, if Asia had been even... I mean, I didn't get ABM brush. Did get Gent once. I don't know. I think, the dice have been good. He's played well. Deserves the win. I'm not sure I see a lot of other ways I could have succeeded. So I would welcome insight. at least I'm not going to blow the world up. So I get Che. Where else is good? We'll do Uruguay, because Africa's already dominating and I might get some rear lines off. But I'm toast. Europe is fine. Europe at 0. Let's get it out of the hand. Southeast Asia's going for 5. So it'll be up at +6 before you know it. With Middle East and Asia domination. Easy Central America presence-less domination. I may need to use Glasnost for rear lines. Oh, splendid. So we will first of all take the coup on Guatemala. So we're going to use Glasnost for the event, which I know raises DEFCON. The smart coup here is in Algeria. That's also a smart coup, obviously. Yeah, this game is well over, and I think was for a long time. I was just trying to eke out another route to victory, but it was not happening for me. So well played by my opponent. I'll finish with a coup on Zimbabwe. Yeah, he's going to have a crack there. That's fine. He can have another one. Should have evented it. Okay. An easy win in the end. Do comment if you think you see a stroke of genius somewhere along the way. I really don't. The Central America thing was a bit annoying, but in retrospect it wasn't as bad as all that. I just lost too many flips. Yeah, Africa, doesn't really matter. Easy win. 16 in final scoring. Could be worse. Congratulations. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think.